Washington Street, 897. So, been a couple months since I asked. Any update on the zoning text amendment for the 851 Washington Street?
Right, yeah.
Any news, anything, any feedback would be
Nothing's
nice.
come to the council yet. Richard, can you speak to that? Nothing yet? No change at all? Oh, okay.
Just, you guys had sent it back to them back in early February, I guess, and they had to do some respondings. And how long is it before you either reject or deny and return the escrow, that you wait for someone to respond to an application that they're asking for?
We can check the policy, but it's basically a limbo.
I mean, we're 4 months into it. You should, like, cut it to the curb and give them their money back. You're holding $5,000 escrow on them.
It's really for them to ask for, is it not?
I don't think so. I think it's for you to reject. You have the option.
No, if the applicant decided to withdraw their application, that would be one thing, but they haven't.
Well,
So we're in a limbo
apparently
right
You have
now.
to give them some kind. You can't go on inevitably. There has to be some sort of an end to everything in life.
They would have to withdraw their application.
Why couldn't you end it for non-response?
So as of right now,
They
there's
have the right to provide the response that the city has requested.
120 days later, you haven't gotten a response. I think that's kind of unusual. It sounds like they're not even really willing to respond.
Then that's their responsibility, not the city.
So isn't it your responsibility to talk to them and get them their $5,000 back that they could use to fix things at the shelter or
so
help people with?
to answer the question, at least as of right now, nothing. There's been no activity yet.
Okay. That kind of sounds like somebody's just, throwing it out the window and not really paying attention to what they're supposed to be doing here. You got somebody who put an application and they didn't apply, they didn't finish out what you asked for. I would think at some point you would end it. Like you're ending the meeting this evening, we're all going to go home.
Right.
Same thing, you should end it and let them refile. You know that they don't have a piece of property in the zone that they're applying for. You know that they did not finish the contract on the other property that they were purchasing. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why it just doesn't come to an end and that's it, it's over, and let them try when they figure out something else. It's the same thing. It just seems like everybody just lets everything lay off to the side until it's appropriate time for them to do something about it. And there was little innuendos about, oh, you should know where they're going to move to, and you should know this and that. And I found out some stuff. There's a lot of rumors going around about different places, but I'd like to finish one thing before we move on to another thing. Mm-hmm. So you have this thing hanging over everybody's head. I know I'm worried about it. I'm confused as to why it hasn't been pushed aside already. Because it is an application for something that's going to change the entire face of the city if this went through. And I want to know what's going on. I mean, I'm here 22 years now. I want to know if I'm going to stay here. Because if this was to go through, I would consider leaving the area. This could be a big problem.
But even if they withdrew their application or the city ended it, they could still refile. So we would be in the same situation as we are now.
Only if they bought a property in that zone that they were going to refile for. And then I would still follow it at that point, too. And then you would have to do the process all over again, and it would be a different zone, perhaps. It might not even be the same zone. You don't know where the next property would be, or do we know where the next property is? I've heard a lot of things. Somebody's got to know something.
So as of right now, to go back to the question, at least there's been no activity at all.
Okay, great. Thanks.
But thank you, Brian. Seeing